This is the If More Let's Divide podcast.
Yo, guys, Charlie, welcome to the F More Let's Divide podcast special. We had to dub this special because of the time that we are doing it, the person who we have on here, and everything in between. Fred.
Yeah, man. I mean, this guy, for me, was revolutionary for the sound of afrobeats, for me personally. I don't think I started paying attention to afrobeats until I heard his sound. And that was big for me. I've been saying that for like a long
Yeah,
time.
I remember one of the episodes you said it. Yeah.
I think I hope eventually he gets the credit he deserves, but the sound is what I think was the genesis of what we know Afrobeats to be worldwide today.
But when we say people should get the credits that they deserve, for this guy in question, hasn't he been credited yet? Because he's going through show credits, he's doing tracks with people credits. So, what kind of credits are you talking about?
Acknowledgement.
Okay, fair.
Acknowledgement.
Charlie, without further ado, because I can't wait for the conversation, guys, welcome to the F More Let's Divide special, first edition with DJ Juls.
Yes, sir. Wagwan.
Charlie Juls, what did happen?
Charlie, I do.
Charlie, I mean, we were chasing Jules to be on an episode.
Yeah.
He made me track him down.
Charlie.
I was following him throughout Accra.
Yeah, I
He
think
made
you
me-
went to some concert.
Yeah, he made me come to his concert. Like, I wasn't prepared to go, but to get him. And Jules was like, Charlie, family thing, so Charlie. You
Busy
know.
man.
But I mean, it's all good. He's here now, Charlie.
Yeah.
And we are happy to have you.
My guys. I'm not going to tell the people that it be me where I say, Charlie, I for do because I'm the one who.
Yeah. I mean, Jules just said, hey, hit me up one day. I was like, Charlie, the pod, what's up? And I'm like, you said, yeah, you know, come. Yeah, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie Jules, what's up?
I do.
Like, we always start, like, we talk about how we know, people. And one of the words that I've been using for episode by episode is decades. Like, yeah, I mean, me and Jules, Charlie, we go a while back.
Yeah.
Like 28.
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
2009.
2009, yeah, thereabouts,
Yeah, 2000,
Yeah, Jules,
2000, Yeah.
And I heard Jules, and around that time, I think you wanted to work with the fucking boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jules would come, like, would call me, Charlie, Mutombo, what's up, Charlie? Your guys, and Jules's growth has been, Charlie, impeccable.
Epic. Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah.
Appreciate
I think I've known him, I've been acquainted with him for just about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just him doing his corporate thing and then doing the music thing on the side.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see where the art form has taken him now. But
Chai, so what amount of dedication did you have to put into your craft to get to where you are now?
I mean, talking about the corporate world, I think literally every day, like after work, you literally just go behind the laptop and you're trying to like make some beats. And it's difficult to do that because you need the inspiration to actually do that type of thing. But I think because there was more of a drive for perfecting my craft at the time, so after work it was like 100% like this is what I was gonna do after work. A lot of the salary that I was making was literally going into my music career as well. I think when things started going as well, had to make sacrifices and, be a bit more dangerous. When I was working full time, I had to kind of like pull in a few like fake sicknesses to say, yo, Charlie.
Secondary school days.
This
seems
Thursday, yeah. Thursday, I did 6 more, or I can't come in, and then I will end up flying out on the Thursday to probably go and do like a show in like America or something.
Yeah.
There for the weekend. Fly on the Sunday, land Monday morning like 5, and I'm literally taking my suitcase and stuff
To the
to the office.
Wow.
Yeah, and I probably did that like maybe 3-4 times.
Did it take? Did your coworkers at some point notice?
Nah.
Yeah,
It's like,
weren't they following you
Bro,
on Instagram or Twitter?
if I see anybody like, if I saw like a follower that was like,
you block.
I go block her.
But wait, this was when you.
But I've
left.
even jumped because this
Yeah,
is like
yeah, that's what
2016, 2017.
Yeah.
But if we're going back, I was talking to somebody about this today. I was making a lot of beat tapes,
Yeah.
Jungle Book beat tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have that on my computer
Yeah.
still.
You get on, man. Because me, I did session stuff. And these times we didn't have, we had the Spotify and the iTunes and stuff, but we weren't really putting music on those things. So it was like Mediafire or Lime Links,
Bandcamp.
literally all those type of things. Putting out for free and literally just encouraging people to listen like to the beats that I was working on. And then I think with time, I guess the buzz started building. Panji gave me an opportunity to and big shout out to Panji.
Shout out
'Cause,
to Panji.
Kingmaker.
Panji is the reason for lots of things. Myself personally, when it comes to music, in terms of his advice,
Yeah.
it's very particular. He's a very, very wise man. Too wise, actually. Too wise. And yeah, he gave me the opportunity to remix the FOKM Boys.
I do remember.
Cause of Money, I think volume 2. And that was good for me because like I really wanted to mess with.
You killed it.
I wanted to do some stuff with Kobola and Mensa. And it's interesting because Mensa has been in the game for the longest while.
Yeah.
Like I want to say 2 decades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus.
I want to say 2, probably 3, but we don't want to talk in age.
Yeah.
Today the drop bombshells.
But like I remember what was the name
Because
of
Ben's
that?
have been active since the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he produced the
Reggie.
record with VIP,
Reggie. KK Fosu. He's done.
Yeah, and so yeah, it was an honor to just literally do that remix session because I didn't think working with them would actually be an opportunity because, bro, you need to understand you're doing these beats at these artists, nobody's paying attention to it at all, bro. And Panji gave me some advice that you need to create your own sound and find out one person that is gonna be able to complement that sound that you guys have, and then you kind of like take things from there.
Dope. Wow, that's so. You said you had to, quote unquote, like lie, to your boss to go do what you really love. And I like dabbling several things at the same time. It's hard to find inspiration. How do you find inspiration? I know you don't wait for inspiration to find you. You go and find inspiration. What are some of the tricks and tips that you would give us and people out there who are listening?
Well, it sounds rich for me to say, but traveling. Now, some people feel like, okay, it's not all of us that are able to afford to go to certain places, but Ghana there are so many places in Ghana that are so inspiring. The beach, like every time I come home, I always have to go to the beach. I had a writing camp maybe a few months back, and we were at the beach house literally for like a week. Bro, some of the music that I've made in that place, I've never made music like that ever, and it was just literally flowing. Now it's kind of like how the environment kind of like complements you and the people that you're around and the energy. But there's so many places like there's places in Akosombo, places in the Volta region, in Cape Coast, where you can literally just kind of like create the surrounding to yourself. So yeah, surroundings and traveling are definitely things that inspire me when it comes to music. I have a long playlist of songs that when I hear certain chords or I hear certain drums, I just add it to the playlist and just make a mental note because they will inspire me to make something different. Most of the time, when I even listen to the song, I end up doing something completely left anyways. But the song is on that playlist as like my kind of like notepad or like diary to be like, okay, let's listen to this song. What did you like about this song? What can you do that's different or the same or emulate it and then try and switch it to make it kind of like your sound. So those are kind of like my two main inspirational, approaches when it comes to like, making music and stuff. You could also literally just be in the club or a party and you hear a song and you're like, I want to make something like that. You just go to the studio and you do that exactly. So yeah.
So are you able to, like, hear something and go like, even though you are some kind of engineer or producer, you can do everything, like beat wise?
Yeah. I think apart from country music, I'm able to I'm able to literally make pretty much anything that I set my mind to. It's crazy. My listening dynamics are quite broad. And that's because of my younger brother. My younger brother is the one who actually listens to a lot of extensive music and it puts me on a lot of stuff. But from hip hop to reggae to dancehall to jazz to soul to blues to classical music, and then a lot of predominant African music, soukous, Fuji, high life. I just listen to everything, and I think the foundation most of the time is like high life elements and Ghanaian elements. So if I'm making a record for, I don't know, a Vibes Cartel or Buju Banton, you know the direction you have to take them, but at the same time you just need to make sure that there hints of some Ghanaian elements or instruments in there at a very very interesting point of the song, just to like, just have some identity. You understand? Panji said that it's always important as a producer. Identity is important, so people can know. Oh, this is where he's from. That's why it sounds like that. So yeah.
Speaking of Panji, you said something earlier that I wanted to ask you about. You said he had said to create that sound, that unique sound, and then marry it to some unique artist to make it stand out or make that impact that you were looking for.
Right.
For you, how did that happen, and was there a specific artist that you matched to?
Yeah, it was with Mr. Easy.
Shoutouts.
Shout out to Mr. Easy.
Skin tight?
No, not even skin tight. So the story about that is you remember Clue Monster?
Yep. Shouts.
Shout out to Clue Monster. Clue was one of the producers who was under J-So's wing.
Yeah.
Okay.
J-So at the time, he had so many people on his list. There was Shaker, there was Kevin Beats, Joey B. EL was obviously a part of the Skillings, Stefan, a few others. Anyway, Clue always used to like do his own thing, and he had done a song with this guy called Mr. Easy, and I'm like, I like how he sounds. There are certain things that I would not take, but I'm just like, yo, this guy is pretty dope. I don't think he was taking music as serious at the time, but I reached out to him, sent him a DM. It's like, yo, bro, pretty much aware of, your work and everything. Because these times, this is when Show Them Camp, the record that Dove with them has come out, which is another interesting story. But yeah, Message Easy, I was like, I like this song on the project, Bankulize. Can you send me the acapella? I want to do my own spin to it. It took him a while to send it because I don't think he was really that much interested into the music thing. He was doing phones and stuff at the time. He eventually sent it, sounded sick. I was like, okay, how do we make this a bit more prolific? Papi Kujo was the hottest rapper in Ghana at the time.
Shouts.
Reached out to him, he laid his verse. And then the rest is history. Me and Easy made 5 to 6 hit records consistently. and that was the sound that I was known for at the time, and I guess people would call me some sort of pioneer. I think pioneer is a bit of a stretch, but I definitely have created or had a very significant role in curving the new modern day sound of what Afrobeats or African popular music is. And yeah, we kind of like had that run. And then when we had that run, other people started coming in the mix. So the Burners were reaching out, the Wizards were reaching out and stuff. Not really many Ghanaians were, and I feel like it's because I guess they didn't know where they were sonically at the time. But yeah, it was Mr. Easy that we definitely had that connection in regards to
That's
the
dope.
advice from Panji gave us. So yeah.
Or is it Mutombo and I always talk about how in Ghana there's this complex where we don't put each other on.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that any of that going on there, or you just think that sonically they were just in a different space?
Bro, to be honest with you, even to this day, it's very hard to tell how we got so successful from those records, right? But I think a lot of it boiled down to marketing. Easy is a marketing guru, so a lot of ads were being pumped into, marketing, especially on Instagram, and YouTube, where he was creating a lot more awareness of the songs that he did, shooting the video and stuff like that. So it was definitely marketing. And it was very interesting because people thought he was Ghanaian, but like it's self-evident that he's not. Like his name is not even Ghanaian; it's Nigerian. So I'm just like,
Oh, so there's no truth to the fact that he's half or partly
No, no,
Ghanaian.
no,
Oh, really?
no. He just went to school. He went to Tech.
Okay.
So, but he lived here for a while, and I guess people just assumed that he was Ghanaian. But it was interesting how he kind of like blended with the Ghanaian market because he had a lot of good relationships with them as well. So yeah.
So aside Easy from back then, like, did you work with some Ghanaian acts?
No, not that many. I mean, Sarko did a freestyle on one of my beats called Inflation. I did a record with Stoneboy called Rude Boy Love. Kojo Q and I were trying to work on a tape, but there was just a lot of creative
You and
differences.
Kojo
at
Q
the
would
same-
have been dope. Like, I see it. Like, you and Kojo Q
It
would
was
have
called.
been
It was
really,
called.
really
It was called For My Brothers.
dope. Yeah. Yeah.
We had quite a few records, but then I think I just didn't see where it was going to go from a creative standpoint, and the radio weren't really playing that type of music.
Yeah.
So I just felt like, it wasn't the right time to put that out. And I also feel like at the time his flow, was very, very unique and different, which is great, but Ghanaians don't like unique, great, and different. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. With your approach to beat making, and I'm asking you this question because of Kojo Q's name coming up. With your approach to beat making, you sample a whole lot, right? Because the Juls I know from back in the day was like a mensa to me, Kukwananse shouts, Kukwananse to me, like the sampling dons. Like Juls will take an old tune from back in the day and make it. That style is very, very tough. So one, why did you decide to go that route? And two, as a beginner, how difficult or easy was it to clear samples?
So I think the beauty of those things was because I wasn't really releasing these songs commercially. They weren't sold for anything. It was cool to do that. They were literally on SoundCloud and they're like literally for free. And I guess I started sampling because I didn't really play that many musical instruments at the time. So it was a style that I adopted, growing up listening to Kanye West and Jay Dilla, and then them literally just chopping up samples on the drum pad and making all of these beats. That's kind of like what I adopted to. Now, a lot of that has changed. I don't even sample anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like now everything is pretty much playing everything from
Like session players come in.
yeah. So I normally work with the guitarist and the sax, and I have literally had to self-teach. I had to teach myself how to play like certain melodies on the keyboard. So a lot of practice, bass lines, and then trying to tweak the sound to sound a
Yeah,
certain
to
way.
Binky.
Exactly, and then EQ it so you kind of like give it like a warm feel.
Yeah.
So it does involve a lot of engineering stuff, and then yeah, again the guitarist and the sax guy, and then just being experimental with so many sounds, that are available to a lot of producers. Like the VST plugins are being you know, they're being a lot more creative with the sounds that they're making as well. So, I had to teach myself that. But I do miss sampling though. It's a lot easier to clear samples now because there are programs that are able to allow you to do that as TrackLib.
Yeah.
And TrackLib literally has this library of sounds from different parts of the world, which have all the information on the licensing and all of those things. So one day I'll probably just go dig if I find something, try and get the license for it, and I'll try and make it happen. So yeah.
Would you focus or go back to your dem days on Bandcamp where you would make beat tapes? I think last year you tweeted that you wanted to go or to release some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you think there will be a time where you go back to dropping like beat tapes filled with samples, like you tweaking and reworking
Yeah,
samples?
yeah, I think so. I think it would be a very interesting way of doing things, but then I would like it to come with some sort of visual, I guess, like maybe a short film or something like that, just so that it could tell a story. So, if I'm being particular about sampling songs from, I don't know, Kenya or India, and then you call it made in Kenya or made it in India or something like that, and then you present it with some visuals of those places. It's kind of like you're telling a story of where you've been, and these are the inspirations that you got when you went to this place. So yeah,
That's dope. That's dope. I think yeah, going to different parts of the world and making beats. I think the Madlib did that.
Be Conductor. In
Yeah,
fact,
yeah,
that's actually
yeah,
one of the
yeah,
inspirations.
yeah, yeah.
He has a series called Be
Yeah,
Conductor where
yep.
Volume 1 and 2 he sampled themes from a movie and something else.
Yeah.
3 he sampled Africa. 4 he sampled jazz, blues, and
Yeah.
movie clips
wow.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It
true,
makes
true.
Very
sense.
dope.
I always wanted Jay to change his sound, but he never got around
Who?
to that. Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
I thought he would experiment with some sound outside of the hip hop.
The hip hop
in
thing,
there.
yeah.
But I think it's an interesting approach.
Charlie, one thing that people know you for is DJing.
Yeah.
The last time I proper saw you DJing was in LA. I think last year or last 2 years.
Yes.
You realized that I was in LA and you hit me up to come to that show where you had a section and there,
Yeah. I remember.
yeah. Why do you think, because with where you are now, why do you think you have to still travel to DJ? And how do you feel about like being on that? Because I've seen videos of you on huge stages with crowds and all that. Like, how do you feel? And also engineering and DJing. Like, do you have a first love?
Well, making beats and producing will definitely be my first love because that's what I started with. But from the DJ aspect of things, that's my entertainment cap, right? Like producers, most of the time, they don't get the love that they deserve. They're shortcut or shortchanged, should I say? And I think being a DJ, just kind of like you're able to create a platform for yourself where it's like I can put on a show and I can literally play all my music for the next hour or two. And then
Simple.
people come,
Yeah.
But then, I've had to learn how to DJ over the years. I really started DJing properly like 2011. And even that, it was just literally like just making sure I'm able to mix one song into the other. I think I'm getting a lot better with my craft in terms of the skill and the technique, but yeah.
Wow. Dope. Quick.
Yeah, I'm interested in you have a certain personality. I don't know if this question has been asked to you before, but I think all of us observing your evolution from how you started and where you are now, there's been a certain humility that you always maintained. Even some of us who were like big fans of yours at particular points were like, come on, man, Jules, big up yourself. Like, why do you care about what these people think or how you would present something on Twitter to get feedback and whatnot? And as I have grown to understand you better as an artist, I think that's a unique point. Have you noticed that yourself, and is that something that you're conscious of?
Yeah, no, I can be honest and say, like, look, growing up, I wasn't a confident person growing up at all. I think, you know, you always had this thing at the back of your mind about what the perception was going to be. And so you had to do certain things to catch the eyes and the ears or the attention of people that you feel could amplify you as or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And some people may think it's fake humility, but the honest truth is, like, to me personally, it's like, you're right, not bigging up yourself, which you should do more, because nobody's going to tell your story for you better than you are. And so I think with time, I've started to learn that, maybe you need to take things a little bit different, because sometimes you just want to make sure that you have all the fans on your back, and so you can supporting you. So, you feel like you can't do this or you can't do that, or you can't say this or you can't say that. And then with time, frustration builds, because it's just like, I'm putting all this work and effort in, but it's like, you're not getting the results, and it gets frustrating. And then you're just like, man, fuck this. Like, just want to, move on or do something else. But those are like emotional moments. So definitely a lot of emotions and lack of confidence is something that has been a problem that I'm working on. You understand? I know my worth. I know my ability. Sometimes it takes certain things to happen for people to realize how good they are, their potential. But, I'll give it time. But I do definitely know for sure that I definitely have that problem then that I'm working on for sure.
I don't. Well, yeah, and I didn't even. Well, at some point we did consider it like not a problem, but a thing. But now I actually admire you for it, because I was like, for you to be so vulnerable,
Right.
in an open space, like social media and everything, to
Right.
put yourself out there and let people see how much you cared about what you were doing.
Yeah.
In retrospect,
But
it looks
you have to think about it, because it's like, bro, I'm a human being. People love to put, people on this pedestal that they're something, extraordinary. Like, bro, I'm a human being. You should feel free to come and have a conversation with me. If the conversation is going somewhere I don't want it to go, then of course that's when we put a line. But I don't want somebody to feel like they can't come and talk to me or be intimidated. Like, bro, we're all the same. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I have no qualms in being vulnerable with myself. Like, I'm just going to be real, and you're letting people who probably are your fans or want to be like you, let them know that, yo, you have to be yourself, and you can't really put up a facade or give this impression that Charlie, do you know what I'm saying? So
Dope.
yeah.
Yeah. So you said, like, so there obviously, have been times where you feel, like you said, like you are putting in so much work and it's not going anywhere. Like I'm sure that there have been times that you wanted to give up, quit. We all go through, that phase.
Yeah.
I'm asking you these rookie questions because I know so many producers out there who are going through that, who are trying to get to where you are, who want to be like you. So, like, how do you deal with those, times, and, how do you deal with it? Like, when you are on the brink of, Charlie, fuck this thing, giving up because no one is rocking to my beat.
You snap out of it, bro. Like, Yeah, there's some moments where I'm just like, man, fuck this. I'm not even interested. Like, whatever.
We have. I remember some years ago we had
Yeah.
that talk somewhere. I think
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you told me that, bro, make you know watch anybody.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah. We had that long
Yeah.
talk.
I think,
Wait. Remember you came here. You came to me to. You had this keyboard that you wanted to sell. Like, do you remember?
Yeah.
You gave it to me for some time to, and I'm like, why are you selling it? Do you remember?
I was trying to get rid of it.
I actually we talked about that keyboard too, because one of our boys plays the piano and I wanted to get one. But
Yeah.
he told me that.
Do you remember? Like I think you were going through that.
I was like, Charlie, bro, I'll tell you this. I've had phases where I'm like, I'm selling all my shit. So I had a keyboard and I've bought these pair of speakers because they're called Rockets.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I probably had the Rocket 4s 3 times because I've sold them
And re.
3 times because I'm like, Charlie, what's this? Like, it was like, man, like, I don't know. God has been good, man. Like, I just give it to him because it's the patience, it's the motivation, and the encouragement by people who, really care for me, family, who are like, yo, nah, keep going. You have your own sound, you have your own lane, just stick to what you're doing. Everything's gonna come in due time, you understand? Because, bro, you have to be honest. As humans, you look left, right, and you see, people doing, in your opinion, mediocre stuff, but then they're doing amazingly well. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? Man? You understand? But then it's just like, what's meant for you is meant for you. You feel me? I don't mean to be all preachy and shit, but the fact of the matter is, like, everybody's time or that moment of greatness where things just change your life for the good, it definitely comes. I think the frustration is when that thing is gonna come because of all the hard work that you put in, and it's like, I'm working too hard. So yeah,
Patience, motivation, and encouragement.
yeah,
You mentioned these 3 words. So now, I know you are not where you want to be, right? You are still going, right? But now, if you are on that stage, or if you are in that camp with all of these stars, if you're on that stage with like all these people in the crowd singing your, songs, how do you feel? Like I want you to be very, very, very honest. Like, tap into your inner self and tell us how you feel.
to be honest with you, bro, I could be in like a bar, and when the song comes on, I just pretend that I don't even know that the song is on. But then I'm just very observant to how people kind of like react to the song. I'm just like, oh, all right, they're vibing to it. Sometimes, well, most times, especially these days, people will catch you. It's like, oh, there's, Jules, I like his song. This is that, but they don't know whether they want to say hello. So you can literally walk by and then you hear somebody say, "That's Jules," and I think they would think that you're not gonna turn to say anything. They think you're just gonna be snobbish and walk behind. So I'll just look up. It's like, "Hi, you okay?" And I think that warms them up. So it's like, oh, he's a normal human being.
Yeah,
you understand.
Yeah.
From a concert perspective or from a show perspective, where people are actually singing along to the music, that one is just a very good feeling. I did that last year for my birthday. I did a free show for like 300 people in London, where the tickets just went on in like less than a minute.
Cool.
Like,
Wow.
that's how I know that niggas like free shit. But then, like, everybody was just like, oh, I didn't get a ticket. Are you gonna drop any more? I'm just like, you guys relax. It's literally just 300 people. But on the day of the show, 300 people. I played 2 hours of my own music, all my songs, remixes, mashups of my songs with other people's songs for 2 hours straight. And for people to be jamming, and it's not like just cool vibes and anything. It's literally like energetic. From
Somebody just
from
told me a new English, I guess, streetwear bashment. That's what you guys been saying.
So, bashment is dancehall.
Okay.
That's what they call we call bashment We call it dancehall bashment in the UK, but it's dancehall. But yeah, bashment.
I was telling her that you can trace that word to Ghana, I'm sure. Yeah, bashi.
Yeah, bash. We the bash. Quite the people they bash you.
I'm sure some
Yeah.
one of our
There's not even any relation.
Yeah. Chai, so last question, then we go to the next session, which is so Jules,
Yeah.
let's talk about family.
Yeah.
You know, I know your other bro,
Yeah.
who is also
Jason.
an amazing artist.
Yeah.
He's done stuff for me before.
Yes, sir.
I've worked with him on a couple of projects.
Yeah.
How is your family like? Like, do you come from a family that's packed with people who are in the arts, or you know, it's
From the arts perspective, definitely Jason, obviously.
shout
Shout out to Jason. He's an amazing creative. Like Jason draws like freehand. He's a graphic designer. He writes like very, very well.
very well, yeah.
And he's a music head. Funny enough, he's my brother and sister are the only ones who learn how to play a musical instrument, and none of them do music.
Wow.
So my sister actually has higher upgrades in playing the piano, and my brother, he did guitar lessons. I didn't do shit.
Do they play with you? Like,
Nah, they don't do music at all.
no, but do you call them into your studio to maybe give you a bass line or give you some loops?
No. My brother and I have never actually had.
Are you serious?
Nah. He doesn't do it. He doesn't even have a guitar anymore. He doesn't do it anymore.
he doesn't like it.
I don't remember the last time I even saw my sister play the keys. But I should put him to the test though.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah. Apart from them, you guys, I don't know whether you know this, but D Black is my cousin.
Yeah. I
So
know that.
he's you know, obviously a rap mogul, and then we have a cousin in the States who plays a role called Uncle Clifford in this show. Damn, I forgot the name of the show in America called
Uncle Clifford. Let me see.
Uncle Clifford. He
Is it a
plays.
Karen show or is it an old show?
No, it's a current show. What's the name of this show? Something. I remember the name of the show, but he's an actor. Apart from that, in terms of arts,
Yeah, by your parents.
Oh no, I lied. My mom does paint.
Oh, okay.
My mom does paint. In fact, it's my mom who was the one who really encouraged us to sharpen our skills when it came to like creativity.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, from time to time, even at her age, she'll buy a canvas and then she'll just, you know, be painting something, you know, that comes to mind, and then she'll literally just put it in the kitchen. So yeah.
Wow.
So how close, like not close, how have your parents influenced you with your art forms? Like, were they the
Right.
kind that would push you to, go to the studio, like do this, like do that?
Nah, not really.
So how difficult and how did they influence you?
I think the only influence they probably really had, I guess, was just the music that I was playing at home. Like, my dad is a jazz fanatic. And if you listen to my music, you can feel the soul in there. I think that's just from listening to so much jazz music as a kid. And then my mom, she loves reggae music and high life. So she, you know, Jimmy Cliff, Johnny Nash, Bob Marley. And then, you know, when you're talking about high life, CK Man, the Western Diamonds, Papa Yanks, and all of these guys. So all of these things were playing at home, and this is what I grew up on, because you're entry. So, you know, that's pretty much the influence that they had. In terms of support, they never really got the whole thing, especially when I quit the corporate job.
Yeah, they
because-
must have been losing their mind.
I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday, bro. Because I remember literally calling them. It's 2017. I remember it was like probably a month to my dad's birthday, actually. And, you know, some shit happened at work. I was just like, yo, I can't work for these niggas anymore. So I was like, yo, I'm going to write my resignation letter. But out of respect, I just literally told my parents, like, yo, this is what I'm about to do. That phone call, immediately I said what I had to say. There was just so much silence on the other end of the line. I was like, There's nobody gonna say anything. Then my daddy came and he was like, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. But your mom will try and, are you sure you don't want to do it for another year or two? I was just like, nah, man. Like, I was literally done with that world because I just didn't feel like it was for me at the time anymore. Yeah, man.
I'm a stickler for getting this information from all of our guests. I think this past season, we've had some people who are accomplished, skilled, and there's a technical aspect to what you do, the engineering aspect, the actual doing of what you do. This is the presentation to the world, Juls, the personality or the celebrity or the producer. But Mutombo said something earlier that I want to kind of reach back to because he was talking about wanting to give up, throwing your shit out, this and that. And you said, what's meant for you is meant for you. But I know also that you're a hardworking, diligent person who, through building relationships and making sure there's some infrastructure around what you do. I guess what I'm asking is, I kind of want you to talk a bit more about that side of things as opposed to, I don't want the younger people, younger producers to think that there's some magic that's going to happen without understanding the infrastructure that it takes to be able to say, I got to go out and do the show. I got to go out and meet these people. I got to put myself out there. I have to try and meet this artist. I'm assuming there's a lot of that going on in the background where it's hard work. Like you have to get on. You don't feel like it, but you have to get out and go to. He invites me. Actually, the night we were supposed to come see you at the concert. He asked me to come. I'm sleeping. You know what I mean? So it's not like some. Anyway, if you can speak on that a little bit, because
bro, it's interesting you say that because, you can't just sit in your studio and make the music and then put it out there and expect it to be taken in. They need to see you in certain places. You need to be, in certain events, networking with people who are going to speak about you or be aware of you. And it's very tedious because you're in an environment with people who are very cliquey. There's a lot of politics. People are not really as friendly as people think they are. So people feel like this guy coming in this space, like there's an opportunity that he can take away from me. It's just an aura or an energy that's just natural. It's not even music. It's just anywhere, period. It could be the hospital.
Business, wherever.
But there's a nurse who doesn't mess with this other nurse because of certain things. It's just, egos and bad energy. So having to deal with all of those energies is hard work. But you have to do these things to be able to continue to network with people and kind of like build your net worth and you just never know where a conversation can go that can, make things, good or bad. And also it's a skill to be able to navigate around the room. Jay-Z has this line: show them how to move in a room full of vultures. Right. That's an art because they're just people who are looking at you with a hawk eye, like who's Mutumbo, who's Fred, like who are these guys? Like, why every time when they come here, everybody want to talk to them, or did they do this podcast, this that? Like, there's so much that triggers certain humans' minds and puts it in a place that it shouldn't be. But you have to deal with those energies, and dealing with that energies can be frustrating because it has an impact on your being, and you're not able to, create or think, or it's just very jarring. And social media doesn't make this easy either because you're seeing things and it's like, yo, Charlie, I like that watch. That watch is 36,000, and you go and find 36,000, and you're broke, and then you wear the watch, and then you see that, oh, this guy right now, the watch they wear be 100K. So you're gonna go straight. This is how the mind works, because it's like you're trying to keep up with appearances, and it just defeats the beauty of, anything and everything you're trying to do. But at the same time, it's kind of like you have to balance it out so that you kind of like are not seen to be this guy who feels like he's better than everybody. And you understand? So
you got to get out there and work the room, man.
Absolutely.
Work with the people that are in the industry that you want to get into.
Absolutely.
Dope. Palmwine Diaries. A couple of, days ago, you made a long, post on Twitter, now called X. It's so strange calling this
I
up
never
X.
call it X, man. That guy futu.
Yeah. You introduced us to a new, pathway on this journey of yours, and you are going to release a project
Yeah.
called Palmwine Diaries, Volume 1.
Yes, sir.
And you said for the next 5 years, you are going to drop a palm wine project.
Yeah.
Why do you feel, or why did you decide to do this?
I think it's full circle because I think what's happened is, in 2023, 2013, technically this year is me being in the game for like 10 years, right? And when I started making music with high life samples be the foundation of what I was doing, right? So a lot of boom bap type of sounds, Ninth Wonder, Kanye US, J Dilla type of sound, type of beats. And 10 years later, I've grown to understand a lot more about the dynamics of high life music to some extent, right? And it's a beautiful genre of music that I feel has been neglected completely. Now we could feel have this argument to debate, but the fact of the matter is, like, I just don't feel like we appreciate it enough at all. I feel like it's become more of a class thing, where upper, what do you call them? Middle class, lower class, high class, or whatever. If you're looking at it from the middle, higher class point of view, it's like high life is looked down upon. It's like, that type of music, right? That's the impression that is given, and it's like, we are listening to hip hop and things over here. We are trying to do these TikTok challenges and stuff. Like, and high life is the foundation of this Afrobeats thing that we are calling, all right? Like, we helped coin the name. It was our music that was popular, and all of a sudden it's like we don't rate it anymore, and we kill our own genres, and we kill our own artists, and we kill our own people. We've done it with so many people. We killed Azonto quickly. The whole GH rap thing, I don't know what's happened to that. It's like we have these great moments in our musical journey when it comes to Ghana. And when it seems like something is great is about to happen, then we just kill it immediately. The same with drill. When the Sucker Boys had this rise, then it was shut down because it was like they didn't have management, this, that, whatever. But these guys are selling out shows big time in Europe. And it's like it's not being spoken about enough. And it's like we find it very difficult to support what we have. And we're not content with what we have. And the conversation that keeps on coming up is, oh, Ghana there, we know the inside there, it's the Nigerians, this is the South Africans, this, that, and the third. And so because of that, a lot of the artists find themselves trying to make records that sound like them, but it doesn't come out genuine or unique because it's not
copy.
the same. You can't copy blindly. You understand? But the roots and soul of a lot of these genres stems from us. If you listen to a lot of these popular Afrobeat songs, if you listen to the patterns and you listen to the guitar riffs, there's so many elements of high life. And I feel like it's time that we're intentional with our sound and go back into time and listen to some of the stuff that was being made in the 60s and the 70s, the Ramblers, Coney Moore. And if you want to come forward, like the early 2000s with Hammer, like Hammer's era, I feel is probably one of the best hip life eras of all time.
Yep.
Like, his beats were incredible.
Yeah.
He had some stupid lyricists. He had Tiny, he had Okra. Quade, Obrafo, JD Alampine, probably the greatest hip life song of all time, in my opinion. You can go and debate with your shadow. But like those eras, I feel like they can come back in this time because they're songs and it's energy that can move the crowd.
Right.
Like the beats, the energy. Like I feel like we need that again, right? So I'm being very intentional with this. Like even putting Palmwine Diaries away. Like the next album that I want to work on, want to make sure that the sound of High Life is pretty much present in literally everything because at the end of the day, it's identity, right? Being Ghanaian, you want your identity to show. And hopefully, people see what I'm trying to do and then they follow suit. I sent Sarkodie a message the other day saying, bro, I would really love if we could all be intentional with trying to tap into, our old sound again instead of us trying to sound like other people anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And he was very welcoming. The message was like, bro, let's do it. I said the same thing to R2Bs, and I had a session with R2Bs. They came to London to sometime, had a session, and Payday, shout out to Payday, was like, the high life is so important, and we need to be very, very intentional with it because this is our sound. So, bro, we have thousands and thousands of people coming to Ghana every single year, and when they leave, none of them really go back with a musical image of what Ghana sounds like. They
'Cause we
might hear,
sound like-
they might hear a song here and there. They may hear a Comido here. They might hear a Kim Promise, this, that, and the third. But I don't remember the last time, especially Christmas time, which is dubbed the time where there's a song of the year where you go everywhere and that's the song that they're playing. The last time I remember that was
That's actually true.
Black Sheriff with Quick the Traveler. I can't remember. Maybe this year will be Kim Promise's Terminator. Maybe. But, it's been a while. The last time, in fact, even if before Black Sheriff, the last time was Kwamina MP, A Month for Girls with Medical. That was a song that was ringing off Christmas time. So you just want those moments so that when people go back home, they're like, oh, when we went to Ghana, this is the song that they were playing. And then the artists capitalize on the popularity of the song as well. You make appearances here and there. Don't be at home saying, oh, I say this place, then they play this song there, then they pop off for. And then people, they send the videos and then they just repost. Bro, go to these places and then celebrate and chill with these people. Be inclusive. Don't feel like, you can't. Because if you don't engage with the fans, you can't build a fan base.
Yeah, but why do you think Ghana, the Ghana sound has been sidelined in quotes? Like, do you know why? Has it been even sidelined? Like, why isn't it, at the top? And all I hear is, Charlie, the Nigerians. And even now, Amapiano is like
Everywhere.
way,
Every lounge.
above, our sound.
But there's so many
Is there a
people.
reason?
There's so many factors I feel like we could think of. But the DJs are one. The media is also part of it as well. The consumer. The Ghanaian consumer is one of the most complex consumers ever. Like, we're not really sure of what we really want. I feel like it's like, it's just so many factors. And, I feel like there is an urge to want to get behind what is our own, but it's like, I wouldn't do it until somebody else does and takes it to a level, and then I'll come and follow. And, and you would have expected this to be done by our OGs. But I feel like even them have even given up. Like,
When OGs, you say OGs, are you talking about the likes of Sarkodie and...
it could be Sarkodie, and even if you want to go back as well, you know, sometimes even Panji.
Panji, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, I get that, you know, they're probably at an age where it's just like, you know, we've tried our best and, you know, that's it. But then it's like, I feel like if you really want to stand for something, and I'm not saying that any of these guys have not done that, but if you really want to kind of like preserve and push the agenda for something that you've been working with tirelessly for the rest of for your whole life, and you still feel like it's not reaching certain heights, you kind of like need to pull some people to the side and train them and say, look, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And then and kind of like get everybody all in the same room and be like, look, media, you guys, we need you to speak about music by our people and the greater light, and stop looking at the unnecessary things like gossip and, you know, this person is sleeping with that person and, oh, it'd be true.
Yeah.
It'd be true.
Yeah.
How they die?
But it'd be
For
true.
real though.
Because that's the focus, bro.
Yeah.
This person, they do this, that, whatever. This, but like unnecessary shit, bro. Like, we should focus on, you know, trying to push our music in a better light. And if there's critique, then we critique in a way where it's not like you're shitting on the person, but it's like, yo, if Stonebwoy puts an album out and they feel like it's not strong enough or not good enough, and you pull Stonebwoy and his team to the side and have that conversation, and the artists and their team should also be prepared to take critique so that it can better them and not have their ego showing. You understand? And if it even helps, the artists and their team getting members of the media and other professionals involved in the whole album process so that people feel like they are part of something. Because when you feel like you're a part of something, you're going to put your all in to push that thing to the top. Stonebwoy put out an amazing album a few months ago, and he did all the PR that he did. He was working tirelessly. But I did not really see, you know, the album being pushed significantly like how I've seen other albums from other artists from different countries being pushed significantly. Right? Like, when Davido dropped his album, he had billboards all over this place. Now, maybe that's a money thing and that's a different conversation. But, you know, it's just kind of like being very intentional and like, yo, the media, let us focus on, you know, whatever. Going to the lounges and telling the lounges, yo, start playing high life music in the background when people come and eat. Not that I'm a piano and the reggae stuff. Like, let's hear our music predominantly throughout the day, because those things are psychological.
Yes.
It triggers the mind. And bro, everybody started hearing Amapiano because everybody was playing Amapiano in the lounges. So everywhere you go, even if you don't know what it is, you're like, oh, I keep hearing this Amapiano everywhere I go. So why can't we say to the restaurants, yo, let's start playing some old school high life and some high life music, so that everywhere we go, we hear our music more. It starts with little things like that. You know?
I want to throw you a question because you already mentioned it a bit, but I want to kind of try and explore it a little bit more. You mentioned the idea about cool, and I think from maybe our generation coming up, we went to hip life because high life, quote unquote, was the old people, you know. I don't want to use the word, but I'm going to have to contextualize it for people. Ciano kind of label, like, oh, you're not cool enough. Your eye not open enough. So you stick with the high life stuff and we do hip life and hip hop. And that kind of has morphed the two things away from each other, where now, unfortunately, high life has become identified for all intents and purposes uncool. If we guy, you listen to other sounds which have a more like, the swag of, I guess, let's say, for lack of a better description, hip hop. How much of that do you think is affecting the natural evolution of the sound? Because I was listening to what you've put together, And I've been listening to Ebo Taylor for some reason. Actually, I know why, but for some reason this week, the sound itself, when I'm in my car and I'm jamming to it, I'm like, this is some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's not associated with cool. And I don't know how, if I see that you're working on palm wine stuff, but I'm saying that I think the question I'm trying to ask you is the sound stagnant because the talent stop putting their resources into nurturing the sound for it to naturally evolve to where it will evolve to? And is that kind of what you're trying to do, or what do you think? What's your perspective on?
I think from the cool aspect of things, as a listener of music, I'm not trying to come across as cool based on the music that I listen to. If I like something, I like something, right? And you appreciate it more when you're hearing music from your own homeland and what they're saying and what they're speaking about, right? Because these are deep messages, right? And be a bit more passionate about it, you know, and I feel like we neglect our traditional values sometimes. Sometimes we feel like we're too cool to even go to a Homo festival just to kind of like enjoy the celebrations.
I like quickly though.
Yeah. And it's like we take a lot of those things for granted. Like even as simple as going to the beach just to like chill with friends, bro, that's one of the most simplest things you can ever do, which is you go to a beach, boys then one or girls or whatever, everybody buy them a drink, some small food, just go and sit there near the beach, chill and relax, and kind of like take in, you know, the environment. Like all of these things are to our disposal, but then it's like we're busy complaining about so many things that are unnecessary. So it's a mindset thing, and I feel like it's not that the music that we're making is not cool. And don't get me wrong, the music that's being made these days, it's not that there's anything wrong with it, but then I just wish it would have a little bit more of that high life soul and that authenticity to make it feel rich, because that is what I feel is going to make the sound crossover, because people on the other side of the river want to hear very raw, authentic things that sound a bit more ethnic and make them move. These white folks, when you go to these parties and stuff, they dance to literally everything, but they dance to the rhythm. They're enjoying what they're hearing because it's different. Bro, a lot of our grandfathers don't even own the rights to their records anymore. They've all been bought by these record labels who are based in Germany, and they're holding tight onto those royalties because I can guarantee you they know for a fact that in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to want to go back into time and listen to these records and try and sample them, and they will charge an arm and a leg, but they're just waiting. The other day, one of my boys went to Art Center to buy a whole bunch of vinyl records.
Yo, that guy. My guy there, Charlie.
The white guy bought this whole crate of records, and I can guarantee you he didn't even know any of the artists, but he's just building his collection of vinyl because he knows he can go and repress and sell them. Also, when you go to the States and you go to these record shops, when you look at the pricing of a record for James Brown, it might cost you $5. But I can pull up a vinyl record of Pat Thomas right now. I can guarantee you it's about $35.
Wow.
So they know the worth of this music, but they already out trying to outprice our own people from our stuff, and that money is not being made. Like Pat Thomas is not probably not seeing that type of money, or Abel Taylor is not seeing that type of money because they don't have the rights to those things anymore. So it's just important that we're very intentional with the sound, and once the sound starts to build in a way where it forms a strong identity for who we are, and we have the business aspect of things where everything will be blessed.
Dope. So let's chop it out. Let's chop Palmwine Diaries Volume 1, up. Before we do, like I want you to tell us one interesting thing that happened when you were putting this thing together, off the top.
Palmwine Diaries Volume 1 was made in 3 weeks.
the beats, like getting the
I've
artist
I've had a lot of this music
sitting down for a while?
sitting down for a while, and I was scared to release it because I was like, I don't know how it's gonna be taken, especially it being Ghanaian music. Because the fact of the matter is, it's very difficult for us to get very good placements on these DSP, platforms to kind of like push our numbers and our subscriptions, because that's basically how it works, right? And at the same time, I just didn't know how it would be accepted in general. But I was just like, you know what? Let me just put it out there. Nothing, nothing bad can happen, right? The last songs that were made, it's a song on there called "Unfortunately," which is for RTB, Sarkodie, and Kiddy. That song was made last. I won't get into the reason why I was it was last, because making that record was an album itself. But those guys are OGs, and shout out to Kiddy as well. That's my guy doing an amazing job, especially for his generation. RTB is somebody that we all grew up on, and South Korea is obviously our landlord as well. And Palmwine Rhythm was the last instrumental that I made. In fact, it was literally just sitting there. And a lot of the music that I made it by myself, and collaborated with a few session artists. One of the session artists is one half of the Caveman, Kingsley Okori, who we connected last month properly at WizKid's show at Tottenham Sports Stadium. And anytime we just get in the studio, we just knock ideas. Like, we have so many ideas, and we've been speaking about doing a project as well. And yeah, that's kind of like random stuff from Palmwine.
You have a track on there called Focus, featuring one of my favorite artists of all time, Black Thought,
Yeah.
from the Roots crew.
Yeah.
How did you get him on this project?
So Black Thoughts, I was introduced to Black Thoughts through a guy called Suede. Shout out to Suede. He's a very close friend to Black Thoughts and his team. And I had done something for the Roots on Africa Day about 2-3 years ago when we were doing the pandemic. So we did I did a DJ set for them streaming, right? So I've always been connected with them. Black Thoughts, reached out, and he was like, yo, I really like your stuff. It'd be great to connect and work. We were never able to make it happen because of time constraints.
Yeah.
And then last month, he randomly messaged me out of the blue saying, yo, bro, are you in London? I'm coming down. I'm doing a show. I'm going to pull up to the studio.
Oh, shit.
So I was like,
Did he get the recipients right?
was just like-
Was he texting me?
he texted me. I was like, yeah, bro, no problem. I sent him the address. In my mind, I'm also still thinking, this guy's not going to show up. He showed up.
Oh,
He
wow.
showed up. We had a very, very deep conversation. We had so many deep conversations about rap and hip hop. I played him a whole bunch of beats that were Ghanaian infused elements, and he chose, Focus, which is with Olasi and Kofi Mole. He was like, yeah, this is the one, man. And it was a one take.
Oh, shoot. Did he write, his lyrics there?
No. He
Just off the dome.
Literally, the way they hold the mic right now, he just take the mic. Just started rapping.
Wow. Chai, levels to this shit, man.
Black Thought.
Yeah, Black
Day.
Thought is
Crazy.
So, like, did you
Top
have
5 to me.
plans? Did you have, no, let me rephrase. Was this Focus beat going to be on this Palmwine Diaries, or because you had Black Thought and you were like, nah, this should go on there?
It was definitely going to go on there because it was just Walasi and Kofi Mole on there.
Oh, okay.
In fact, Akan actually had a verse on there as well. But I was like, if me and Akan have a record already, let me see if I can just leave Akan off. And it was just going to be Walasi and Kofi Mole. But then when Black Thought came out, I was just like, oh, this just gives it a different dynamism. and it's Black Toast of the Roots. Like, you know,
Yeah. Another happy song, and the title depicts the mood of the song.
Yeah.
It's enjoyment.
yeah,
Featuring I can't kill it.
pure can.
I can't kill it. Like,
So that
yeah.
song is 5 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We made that record in 2018. I came to Ghana to shoot a video with Akan and Kwesi Arthur called Sarah. We shot it in Elmina Castle. It was shot by Babs Direction. Shout out to
Shout out to
Babs.
Babs.
And Akan was like, oh, Charlie, mommy beats, BB9, whatever. And he recorded the song and he sent it to me. I was just like, this is a beautiful song, but I don't think that Ghana would be ready for this song just yet, because at the time the soundscape was just also quite weird. I completely forgot about the song. And then when I decided to do Palmwine Diaries, I was just like, what songs do I have that are, with Ghanaians predominantly? I just remembered Enjoyment. I was just like, oh, yes, this is the one. And yeah, it's probably my favorite song of the project, to be honest.
Same. You have something small with Sinasol and Walasi.
Yes.
That also is dope. Palm wine rhythm.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. Fred's favorite is palm wine rhythm. My favorite is enjoyment. Because like
You like
even
Enjoyment.
you said there is no some sample, right? On
So there is the Kologo.
yeah.
So there's the Kologo in there
It's so sweet.
that somebody played, and then I chopped it up. So that's a live.
Okay, so that's
it's a
live.
live
Yeah, it's
session,
not
yeah.
okay. Dope.
Yeah, I want when I made the beat, I actually wanted Kina Yusuba in there. Funny enough, but then I was just like, you know what, this is probably just an interesting merge of cultures. You have the North, mixed in with, the drum pattern, which is kind of like gone in a certain way, because we kind of like those Jama type of vibes. And I can't just speak in this pure tree as well. It's just kind of like, different ethnicities coming together, making something happen.
Yeah. And the gourmet, is it gourmet?
Yeah.
It's crazy, like well mixed. Who mixes your project?
I do a pre-mix.
Oh, okay.
I do a
Then you
premix
send
and
it
I
out.
send it over to the
send it over.
engineer
Cool. Dope.
to kind of like mix and master.
Why? I mean, there's a start of something fresh, something dope.
Yeah.
Why 6 tracks?
Because I want people to actually listen to the music. If you give them too much to listen to, they zone out sometimes. That's why I dropped Palm Wine Rhythm first, just to kind of like build some anticipation and also give people an idea of the sonics I'm trying to work with moving forward. So you're going to get 5 new tracks, and those 5 new tracks is more than enough for you to pay attention to what exactly it is that I'm trying to do. And it starts off softly, continues with a bang, bang, and then it ends softly.
I like the listing. Like, it's so on point. Like,
Yeah.
it flows
Yeah.
really, really well.
Appreciate that.
So I realized that, and there's something many producers do, and I want to ask you why. Well, at the beginning of every track, you have your tag,
Yeah.
Juls, baby.
Yeah.
Like, why do you feel it should come at the beginning of every single track, since this is yours?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because it's identity. Because you're also selling yourself. You want to be able to create, identity for yourself, so that people are able to recognize, who that is in the sound. You're also marketing yourself. People would want to hear a record because that's the tag that they heard on there. Most of the time, people are too lazy to be checking the credits, on the song. So they either want to guess who made the beat based on how the sound may be, or they just wait for a tag. And so that's literally just, me
okay,
kind of like
okay.
building a brand for myself.
Dope, Fred.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the journey that you're starting with this. I wanted to ask this for my own education. because I was thinking about it when I was driving up here, that what makes a genre? What makes something high life as opposed to hip life? Because when I was listening to the records, it was high life sound and some rapping here and there, and then some of them were the high life like vibe or tone or song. So I wanted to ask you, because since you both are in the music industry, that what makes a genre? Is it purely the sound, or is it the artist's delivery over the sound that makes the genre?
That's a good question. I would like to say, what makes a genre? It's definitely the sound. It's definitely the sound, the sonics, the pattern, the sounds and elements, the instruments that have been used. That's definitely what defines the genre and how those instruments come together, right? You know, when you recognize a certain beat pattern or a certain tempo or something, or the way the guitar has been played, you automatically say to yourself,
Yeah.
that's high life.
Yeah. Actually, you're right. Because
That's-
if you hear reggae sound, it's distinct. If you hear high
Exactly.
life sound, it's distinct.
Yeah.
No matter how the artist is presenting over it. Yeah.
And if you think about reggae as well, is Jamaica is that is all that you're going to hear when you go to Jamaica. I did not hear a single other genre anywhere. And even if I did, it was probably for like a split second. But they are playing reggae music predominantly the whole time. It's just a habit. that
We
need to
don't,
adopt.
I mean, I think you've touched on quite a bit. We don't necessarily embrace our own thing because I think there's multiple things at play. The market is not even big enough. Our radio stations don't pay artists to play their music, so they have no anything that's free. You place no value on. I'm sure there's some payola going on from my Nigerian brothers and sisters as well, but I love the message that you're trying to put out to embrace us and to hear ourselves through our own, people.
Yeah.
And it will give some more authenticity to it. So, shout out to Palmwine Diaries. I'm enjoying it. I can't wait to get the because I'm tech on savvy. The whole Dropbox thing was not working for me, but I need to get it on a regular streaming device. And then,
Thank you, man.
So,
yeah.
Palmwine Diaries drops today. How or where do you want people to listen to this project? You know, some projects are better when you're on the road, some when you are having sex. So how, what do you see in your mind's eye?
Shucks up.
The sex rough.
Wow.
Yeah. And Jules said, who is having sex with who? That was funny.
Yeah. Bro, I would love for the music to just be playing predominantly in lounges where people are chilling. I would love to hear the music in those places. I would love for it to. I feel like Enjoyment Records could be something special. I definitely want the DJs to kind of push that record and see where it goes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Listen, it's gonna be on every single platform. Boomplay, Audio Mac, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, all of those things. But I just want people to kind of enjoy the music and see where I'm trying to go. This is a new direction I'm trying to take. I'm trying my hands at something new. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We just go back to the drawing board. But I know that, people will love, one or two songs at least, and it will do something. So, yeah.
The artwork.
Yeah.
Who is behind? It has this retro feel. Who is behind the?
So a young guy by the name of Otisanya, he is the one who's been designing literally all my artwork. The last few releases that I dropped, because I'm trying to keep a consistent theme. So shout out to Otisanya. He's based in London. Nigerian graphic designer. Very, very dope. What's interesting about the art cover and what's interesting about the name Palmwine Diaries is that when I announced it, my Nigerians or some of the Nigerian community were but this palm wine music, this is what Shoda and Camp has been doing, right? And Shodan Camp are the originators of this Palmwine music movement that they've been doing over the last, decade. But I thought I had the right to also call my record Palmwine Diaries because I somewhat introduced,
Yep.
that sound,
I agree.
with them to some extent. And Palmwine music is actually a genre of music that started in the 1920s, 30s, 40s. So those sounds, you're gonna hear those sounds throughout the tape by way of like the guitar and some of the African elements. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because I'm not the type of person who, just calls a project a name for the sake of calling a name. But I bring it up because the font on there that Otisayan designed apparently was quite similar to what Shodan Camp's font is. But when I took a look, it wasn't. But it was just interesting how I saw like a few comments because I feel like High Life, because of how important it is and because we haven't, been as proud of it as we should, I feel like people are ready to pounce on that sound.
Yeah.
And something might happen, and if we don't advocate for our own genre, somebody's gonna take it and then make it theirs, and then we reverse. It's happened so many times.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
So because this is a new path and a new thing that you are, taking up, are you welcoming other producers, other engineers, other, the musicians to join you in this fight, quote unquote?
I would love for that to happen. I mean, me and Guilty and Gafachi have spoken about doing a project.
Shouts.
Yeah, shout out to them. We've spoken about doing a project before, but everybody's time schedules is crazy. But it would be dope to kind of like executive produce an album with those two, where we get some of the most top-notch Ghanaian artists together and then just make like an incredible album based off high life and hip life sounds and just a very interesting narrative. Yeah.
Dope, Fred.
Yeah, I mean, time is not on our side, but I want to say to you that you make us all proud.
Thank you, man.
We really appreciate
no doubt,
everything
no
that you
doubt.
put, into the work that you do. And we know that, this project is going to do what it's supposed to do. We're all behind it.
Thank you, bro.
And go get them.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, Chai, and I mean the same for Fred. Me, I've seen your journey, like I've seen it, and I'm also so proud. Proud is so weak a word to use in this.
It's a very strong word, bro.
Yeah, like it's so. I'm like wow. I'm like
in awe.
Yeah, in awe, in awe.
That's a good one.
I'm so proud. I mean,
Thank you, bro.
of you.
You stood it right there.
A little bit. I gave it up for the most
You
part.
should get back into it.
Yeah. This has given me an outlet to express some of my thoughts because Ghanaians don't like to read, or they read but they don't give feedback. So it's hard.
Yeah. So Charlie, guys out there, Charlie, Palmwine Diaries Volume 1 is out. You have to play not just in your rooms and your cars, lounges.
Look, give it all the test.
Yeah,
Put it in
Charlie,
your
Charlie.
headphones, walk with it,
Yeah.
then play it in the car, then play it
Yeah.
in the house, and you're gonna get different energies, different times.
The feeling will be different, Charlie.
Absolutely.
And also shouts to you, Juls, for coming through.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, it's been dope.
Thank you.
Fred,
Yes, sir.
the If More, Let's Divide. Fred,
We're through.
we are through, Chai.